I'm afraid of women. Are men okay? By Shoe0nHead. Now, obviously, I can't speak for all men. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a brief, kind of transparency thing. No, a lot of us are not. Like roll Linkin Park, what I've done. Roll the end credits. We're done here. Not really. But no, that is something that this week I've come to the unfortunate realization of, because I ended up going out. I actually ended up getting pizza at Costco, because they have some pretty decently priced pizza. And on the way back, I had an woman on a sidewalk about 30 yards in front of me, kind of going to the same sidewalk I was, and she was going the same direction I was. And the fact that I understood that I was worried and afraid because I'm worried to be perceived as stalking her, because I'm literally just going back to my house, right? And, still 30 yards away, 30 yards ahead of me. The fact that this is even remotely an issue, I'm going to acknowledge as a problem, and that is something that I personally am rectifying in the background. I've talked about, things I've experienced, getting physically altercated against, getting Sam Alpha'd against. And I think that at the point, it's obviously, it's not all women. But it is one of those I acknowledge, there's a genuine problem I have. And that is, and I've brought this up to female friends I have. I've brought the entire scoop face situation up to them. So I'm being fairly transparent about it, and I'm working through it as I physically can. That being said as well, I also ended up watching a brief thing on Universe 25, and I'm actually reaching out. And if you haven't heard of Universe 25 or seen it, don't save your sanity on that one. It's pretty cruel. But it's one of those that, while it's not a direct one-to-one, in my personal dingus opinion, I also haven't done the full research on it. It's not a one-to-one between the subject material, which I believe were rats and humans, right? It's not a direct one-to-one because of control factors. I think there's some interesting trends you can notice emerge. But that is enough of my preamble on this one. I've generally respected Shoe0nHead's takes and opinions on the internet, where it feels like, something men and bear, right? How people would prefer the bear versus a dude. I've generally respected her takes, and even then, I'm sure we've had our disagreements, as a dingus reacting to a channel, right? But I've generally respected where she's come from. So, with that disclosure out of the way, and you can agree or disagree as you see fit, let's dive into this.
Hello again, friends, and happy Halloween. This Halloween, I have decided to dress up as the scariest possible thing to my audience. A woman. As the OG YouTube pick-me, I have made many videos dunking on bad female behavior, ranging from terrible things like the creepy female teacher epidemic, to more silly things like women posting their L's in my Are Women Okay video. The video where I read embarrassing stories women willingly put on the internet about themselves. And that video has sort of become a fan favorite. So I've gotten many requests from you guys to do a male version of that video. But the issue I found is the male version just doesn't exist. No, I'm not joking. I looked everywhere for the male equivalent, but it turns out, unlike women, men don't like to post embarrassing stories about themselves. Women will be out here openly talking about the time they got a yeast infection from the homeless man behind a Denny's, but a man won't even post about the time he said "you too" when a waitress said, "enjoy your food."
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, that's a certain... Yeah.
Take that to the grave. At least, that's what I thought. Until I visited a dark, forbidden corner of the internet. I used a VPN, I changed my IP address, I went incognito mode, and I visited reddit.com.
My god, why would you do that to yourself? Are you okay? Blink twice if you need help.
And I found one of the funniest and most depressing communities I have ever come across in all my years doing this. It's true, folks. I may have found the one place on the internet where men are posting their L's. Lord knows it's hard to be a man today, I couldn't imagine. You're told to be nice, but not too nice, confident, but not too confident, 6 foot, 6 pack, 6 figures, have a perfect beard or a perfectly clean-shaven face. Oh yeah. That reminds me. Before we dive into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Henson shaving.
Okay.
Most
Out of
razors
10.
force people into these weird workarounds like apply cooling aftershave to help with the burn. No, that's all coping, not solving. Like what
So I think her, so this is definitely done on a different take. I'm trying to figure out what her mic's doing. I think that the peak is lower than the actual video. So because of the audio discrepancy, that alone will not make it a 10. I don't know what it is about this take. I can't explain it, but like how it feels like when you hear it, right? Like it feels more, it's not robust and clear. It feels a little more flat. Someone with more audio experience than I am is going to know exactly what I'm talking about, or at least trying to say. Audio quality is definitely a little interesting on this one.
I was having the worst sleep ever, and I thought maybe it's my routine, you know, I tried to change up my bed routine, everything like that. No, it was my mattress. I finally changed my mattress, and then I finally started sleeping better again. It's not your shaving routine. It's the mattress. Well,
Okay.
the
Makes
razor.
sense.
Henson Shaving
I like the
is on a
analogy.
mission to improve shaving. Not with gimmicky subscriptions or moisturizing strips, but with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. Their razors are made with solid aluminum, making them not only durable, but also environmentally friendly. There's no plastic involved, not even in the packaging. What really sets Henson apart is the precision of their design, with their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in the same aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, ensuring a stable and gentle shave. And since I switched to Henson, I have noticed my shaves have been silkier and smoother than ever before. No tugging, no razor burn, just a close, perfect shave that feels great on my skin. So basically, no more leg beard. The best part is, once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you'll need to replace are the blades, which cost 10 cents each. Just 10 cents. So once you own the razor, you'll only be spending like $3 to $5 a year on blades. That is incredible. Henson's store offers a variety of colors, even a titanium version. So you
Like listen to this. Listen to her reading this specific sentence, right? And compare it to the sentence prior.
you'll only be spending like $3 to $5 a year on blades.
It feels like she's about 2 or 3 inches away from her mic instead of where she usually is. Like she's kind of speaking from a little further away, and it feels like the peak is a little lower. I'm getting like super like TISM status about it. To be fair, I literally also I do pay one of my mods. Like, hey, I need an audio thing done. How much do you want for this? Because I don't understand audio. Microphones are man. Oh god, me printers and microphones. If you want to watch me just absolutely just devolve, I hate both of them.
That is incredible. Henson's store offers a variety of colors, even a titanium version, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style.
Yeah, the
just head
Reba's
on
fine.
over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and add both a Henson razor and 100 blades to your cart, and then enter code SHOE at checkout to get the blades for free with your purchase. Your skin, your wallet, and your environment will thank you. Thank you, Henson, for sponsoring this video, and as always, thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Now, let's get back to the video.
Bro, I never skipped the ad. I don't know. So I understand. We've talked about this a few times. I understand that potentially it could be seen as, well, company's representative of you. And like, obviously, if the company has an issue, sure, just trim the segment out, right? Like, I'm not representing the company. They're not representative of me. It's that like it's I don't know. It's been interesting, which is honestly a fair thing to like actually like dive into, is like the implications in regards to an affiliation thing, right? So it's been interesting, but I honestly like doing the ads. I think that it's really interesting. I would give this a 9. I think that it's great. I honestly loved it. I thought that, I mean, I'm definitely biased towards the pink hair. I'm a huge Megarine Luca Vocaloid fan. Definitely biased towards the pink hair. Audio quality, how it kind of jumped. It wasn't like it was also consistent for the rest of the ad read, because you obviously had this close up, and I mean, it sounded fine. But like, we're going to see how this picks up, excuse me, on my mic. Like, imagine me speaking back here and, you know, me doing half a video like this, right? Rather than being kind of right up and, you know, in that like, you know, 1 inch-ish range to the mic, right? I'm also biased towards large glasses. I don't know what it is. There's something about large glasses that does it for me, but that's beside the point. Like that was it. The audio consistency. I thought it was a good, you know, transition. I thought there was a good intro to this. Thought the length was fine. But yeah, it was mostly just the audio inconsistencies. Otherwise, fantastic ad read.
Are men okay?
No.
No. No, they are not. We have gone over this many times in more serious videos. Modern men are going through a lot, and for a long time there was nowhere for them to vent. Can't vent to your friends because that's gay. Can't vent to your girlfriend because that's gay. Can't vent to a therapist because that's gay.
Bro, you can't hug your homie from behind and help him out. That's pretty gay. You know, we as a society are definitely on the downward curve. I mean, what?
Everything is gay, except of course gay sex, which we all know is only gay if the balls touch.
Exactly.
So, what is a man to do?
She's right.
Where is a man to go? Reddit, of course. r/.
The fact that my brain defaulted to 4chan. Bro, poll is wild.
Kitchen cells, to be exact. Kitchen Cells is a Reddit page where, quote, incels go to vent their frustrations with the world, as well as show off the food they are consuming at the moment. Now, for those of you who don't know what an incel is a involuntary celibate. Somebody who, for whatever reason, cannot get laid or get a girlfriend. And for the people watching this, a girlfriend is a girl that is your friend, who you love. Like that little anime girl you watch in the corner of your screen, except she loves you back. So
Sorry about that. My stream literally foobarred me. I went live, and quite literally, within 5 minutes, my stream went down. So that's what that noise was, me trying to reconnect and OBS throwing a fit. So I apologize about that. No, she's right. As it turns out, sometimes I present as and woman, mostly for shitpost reasons. Bold of you to assume that I'm not about to completely voice train myself. To speak more feminine to increase the level of shitpostiness we have here. Absolutely wild.
let's dive into this. Let's see what Reddit is cooking. Failed my f***ing driver's test today. I'm 26 years old, I can't hold a job, I can't get laid, I can't even drive. I don't deserve flavors.
That's a little extreme.
I dropped my salad. I fail at everything I do. I'll never amount to anything. I'm a perverted incel freak with weirdly long toes. Classmates that I have school shooter vibes. Bowl of sludge. What am I looking at? Is this your classmate? Holy shit, maybe they were right. Resident Evil ass meal. I asked my high school biology teacher out on a date the day I turned 18 via her Steam account. She blocked me.
My internet can smell my fear. It can. That was a hard DC. Sorry about that.
I asked my high school biology teacher out on a date the day I turned 18 via her Steam account. She blocked me. This guy somehow managed to find the one female teacher that did not want to groom their male student. Incredible. Chicken looks good though. 7 out of 10. Asked a girl out and she started laughing. Aw, that's just a learning experience, dude. Got super hard. Rice.
Nice.
Oh. 5'10", rice looks
No, not the foot. No, the foot makes it a 4. The addition of it. No, not a fan.
good. The only girlfriend I've had was on an online game when I was 11. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. That was a man. That was a 45-year-old man. Made this cake to celebrate 6 months on heroin. No woman could love a creature like me, but this feels great anyways. I only haven't ended my life because I don't want to make any women happy. My obsession with an anime girl prevents me from talking to 3D women. Every night before going to sleep, I watch a video of her kissing the camera, and it is almost always the highlight of my day. May I know which one?
So this is actually super interesting. So let's take a look at this. And I very specifically want you to look at this through the lens of Lucy Pyre, right? How she has, anime makes me redacted, right? Like certain videos like that. Imagine Lucy Pyre saying this and specifically saying, my obsession with an anime girl prevents me from talking to 3D people or like 3D men or whatever, right? Because she was in the funny tweet recently. Every night before I go to sleep, I watch a video of her kissing a girl on the camera. It almost always is the highlight of my day, right? And if someone like Lucy Pyre and woman in general says this, suddenly it's empowering. That I think this is really interesting because, yeah, like I guarantee a lot of us have heard a lot of the same sentiment. A lot of us have heard a lot of, the same rhetoric. But because a woman is saying it, suddenly it's empowering and suddenly it's like, haha, funny, right? And I think in certain, I mean, obviously it's supposed to be funny, right? Obviously it's supposed to be hilarious. And I guarantee you a lot of these incel posts are definitely, they're definitely memes, right? Like this is definitely shitpost status. But I guarantee you there's also some actual like IRL stuff mixed in here as well. And trying to find the actual truth in between is just kind of rough because it's the internet. You just don't know, right? But it's interesting because like we've heard a lot of these same things, right? But when a man says it, it's seen as sad and pathetic. When a woman says it, it's empowering and uplifting and, you know, slay queen, right? And I think part of that as well is that it is the vocal people online. I like saying this IRL. I think this is specifically an internetism, right? Because if you said something like this IRL, that's very much cause for concern. I feel when it's kept to the internet, it's a little more like, I don't even want to say reasonable because it's really not, right? It's seen as more fun and playful, right? But if, you know, someone were to say this IRL, even a woman were to say this IRL, like, that would prompt a series of questions, in my opinion.
May I know which one it is? Sue from Monster Musume.
Nice.
You know what? After the last video I did, I can't even judge this. Like,
I'm going to be honest, not Snake Woman.
at least it's human looking. The bar is in hell. I have a
I'm going to be honest, Shoe0nHead, thank you. My browser history hates me, and I'm probably on several lists now, because that last video of the I almost said centaur, the minotaur, bunch of terms in there, man. I had to do some personal research.
huge crush on a coworker. I was talking at her about
Do not search up anything she said in that video, please. Let's go back a little bit.
the bar is in hell. I have a huge crush on a coworker. I was talking at her about fishing, and I jokingly said I could buy her one of those toy Barbie fishing rods and teach her how to catch a fish. She said, I don't think I'd be interested in that, in the most disgusted tone of voice I've ever heard a human muster. I like how he said talking at her. Not with her, not talking with her, talking at
not
her.
to
Women
her.
love when you talk at them. Just corner them and start yapping about World War I or like Warhammer lore. They f***ing love that shit. Just get right up in their face and explain to them the entire plot of Lord of the Rings. That's how you get them. My mom's new boyfriend is younger than me. Oh no, his mom is being hag-maxed. She's 52, I'm 23. He's 21. He could literally be my brother. What the f*** do they even talk about?
I don't, like, how do you handle that? I feel like that's an actual, like, scoop status, right? Like, but I mean, at the same time, it's also your family, so that kind of falls into, like, how do you handle that? I feel that, like, well, here's the thing as well, right? If we apply this to the other side of the spectrum, right? What happens if, you know, my dad's 52, I, as his daughter, am 23, and his new wife is 21, right? Suddenly, that would be seen as, right, so suddenly that would be seen as problematic, right? But 52, you being 23 as a man, and her new husband, like, is 21, husband, boyfriend, whatever, is 21, right? Like, I feel that a reasonable response a lot of men would have is quite literally to scoop, right? Like, scoop, gaming term, like, you literally pick up all your cards, all your whatevers, right? All your dammits, and you go do anything, literally anything else, right? So if I'm playing an game, and my opponent is playing an game, and my opponent smells like warm Subway, and their fingers are always greasy, enter scoop phase, pick up all my stuff, and go do literally anything else with my life, right? Yes, it is quitting, it is taking the L, right, in terms of tournament bracket, but, like, yeah, so it's gamer terminology I forget that isn't actually common. Yeah, I feel like a lot of men would just scoop on this one. Like, they would just go, But it also puts you in an odd position, especially if you are, you know, reliant on parents, etc., right? I mean, to be fair, look, I respect the Cougars, okay? I respect it. Are you an adult? You're over the age of 18? Sure, go for it. Bert Kip, apparently in Idaho, you know, you can get legally married at 13, and this country has it set to... Bro, I don't care, okay? I don't care what laws say. I don't care what other countries have to say. It is 18. Simple as. That is my own personal bar, okay? Plus any... Yeah, that's one of those that you want to have a run moment when somebody says, you know, I mean, it is legal to insert underage, you know, thing that can happen, right? No, that's a certified run moment, regardless of who says that.
Oh, don't worry about it, bro. They're not doing much talking. I wish a tomboy could just casually kidnap me and drag me into a room. Pasta cereal. I feel like tomboys are like an endangered species. What the f is that? Forget
Oh, like that has to be bait. This has to be bait.
Boys, you need to be kidnapped by the feds. You need to be exiled away from society for what you did to that pasta. My ancestors are weeping. The last time I met anyone was when I went to the psych ward a few years ago, where I got a crush on the first girl who ever showed me any interest. She ghosted me. Just my stupid Chungus life.
But this is the thing, I think, and a lot of men, I think, can parrot this rhetoric in a way of, not the psych ward thing, right? But the first woman to show you attention and affection, not even like you know, getting you flowers and stuff, right? Or because that was apparently a debate on Twitter. Man, I'm so glad I'm off it. I literally just camp my handle on Twitter and Blue Sky at this point because I'm done with social media, dude. I'm so done with it. We're recycling drama for the sake of clicks, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I will do literally anything else with my life. But yeah, it's like not even like going above and beyond, getting him chocolates, getting him a new fishing rod, you know, buying him a box of ammo. You know, it's something, you know, any sort of like act like affection. It's like, wow, you didn't immediately call me a scumbag, or you actually treated me like a human. And a lot of men would, yeah, exactly like chat's saying, just being friendly is enough for guys to be interested. And it's kind of wild to think about. And I mean, I can tell you from, yeah, like the male end of the spectrum, right? Like, and I don't talk about what I do, right? If I hardly talk about what I do to friends, right? If I have a problem, or obviously I'm having a rough day, this is why I respect a lot of the friends I have, is that they will call me out on it. Like, dude, get out of your own head, right? And I need that a lot because what I do is very isolating. Right? It's not like I'm outside doing a fishing stream or anything like that. But like, it really, I think that also has the unfortunate effect of, because just showing basic human kindness and compassion is such a rarity to a lot of men, I think that it ultimately leads to, I wouldn't say it's necessarily self-defeating behavior, but I think that it leads to certain assumptions being made, right? Right, well, wow, she showed, you know, like, she didn't call me a scumbag. She didn't, like, you know, just immediately say that I was a problem. And, you know, and I think that's where intrusive thoughts come into play. I don't necessarily mean anything dark or anything bad by intrusive thoughts, but I think that's where people will, yeah, get those intrusive thoughts where it's like, man, well, I mean, she'd make a cool girlfriend. Man, she'd make a cool husband. And, like, here's the thing, right? Everyone has intrusive thoughts, okay? If you don't say you have intrusive thoughts, yes, you do. You have intrusive thoughts, right? You have intrusive thoughts of throwing recycling in the trash can. You have intrusive thoughts when you see the funny anime character. Sometimes when you see the grizzly bear, okay? Let's be honest, ladies. A lot of the discourse around would you prefer the man or the bear comes down to a lot of people wanting to do things with the bear. It's not an everyone thing. There is a non-zero percentage, okay? I don't judge. Just don't be weird. Don't be shitty about it, okay? Just say you want to do the bear, okay? Like, it's 2025. So, I bring this up because it is true, yeah. Like, the first woman, even person, to show someone affections can have a very big impact on someone, even if that person is, you know, kind of just, like, platonically interested, right? And I wanted to make sure to bring up the counterpoint of, while that may be the case, it's also making sure to communicate, to reasonably, have reasonable expectations, and ultimately, if someone says no, right, you know, to have grace, and yeah, it's a no, right? Like, intrusive thoughts are just a part of daily life. They happen. Grats, everyone has it. No one's going to talk about them because they don't want to talk about, you know, the things that they would do to their boss. Nope. No, sir. No one would want to ever do anything against their awful manager. No, sir. Definitely not lock them in the walk-in freezer overnight. No, sir. No one would ever have that intrusive thought. Absolutely no one. So, yeah, we're getting into the weeds on that one, though. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, well, all of what she said.
Okay, honestly, good. Do not get with the f***ing girl you met at the psych ward, okay? None of this Harley Quinn Joker bullshit. You can't fix her. She can't fix you. No. Next. Today I found out the woman I have been pursuing is a lesbian. Burger meat hot dogs for me and my father, who hates me. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, though. I heard one of the variants of the lesbian flag has a battle axe on it, okay? That's amazing. That is actually amazing. Like, bro, no one talks about this enough. I mean, but this isn't the end of the world, though, right? Like, imagine having a best friend, and it's like, suddenly you find out they're gay. You know, just gender obfuscated, right? Just whatever. Man, woman, non-binary, right? Whatever, right? Like, AC-130, toaster. Like, you have a friend, and that friend happens to be gay, and it's like, have they made advances on you? No. Why does it matter, right? Now, if they have made advances on you, sure, that's a different conversation entirely, right? And that's a case-by-case basis. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's one of those that, like, I feel like it kind of sucks because, like, man, the person, right? But ultimately, like, respecting someone's life choices, right? You know, goth gamer girl with with hair in a ponytail wearing sweatpants all day and a tank top, right? Cool. She happens to be a lesbian. Sure, that's fine. Be a lesbian. Clearly, this would never be a thing, right? And that's fine. Like, I don't know. It's about respecting people's decisions, obviously. And that's really what it comes down to, right? And that's like when somebody makes a stupid decision or when somebody tries to make choices, it's one of those you might not necessarily even agree with it. You can outline why it's a stupid decision. And, you know, you're like, cool. I mean, whatever you decide at that point, right? Like, I don't know. This one's an interesting multifaceted one that has other things that tie into it. But at the end of the day, right, if somebody has whatever their orientation is, I mean, that's really all it is, you know, respecting it, right? I also would like to pose the fact that the internet has a lot of spicy content that you could peruse as well, and not feel bad or, you know, discouraged because, you know, someone you might have been interested in ends up being, you know, lesbian, gay, etc. Right? There's a lot of spicy content on the internet, allegedly.
1, that is doo-doo. That is poop from a butt. And 2, it is not over. It's not over. There's still one way you can date her. Put this on.
Yeah,
I don't
fair.
deserve love. Segregated Tic Tac.
Wow, bro. Why you gotta be like that, bro? You're dropping the hard T there. Come on now. Why are we segregating the Tic Tacs?
I have an eating disorder. Gay.
What?
So I almost never actually cook. I'm eating plain strawberry yogurt out of a dog bowl this morning. F*** my lonely puppy life.
Oh my god. There's a non-zero amount of people who go, I can fix that, and who would probably find that hot, and would probably put that man in a matching leash and collar.
Yesterday, my scrambled eggs were oversalted. This morning, they were undersalted. I have to myself. Wait, if the eggs
No, that's the reasonable conclusion, clearly.
are undersalted, can't you just put more salt on them? Wait, don't yourself. Just add more salt. Off to
No, that's not how that works. See, because clearly the eggs are made at this point, right? If you add the salt after the eggs are cooked, it's not the same, okay? It's just not. It's clearly different.
a Vtuber burping compilation, and now I'm having the only meal I know how to make. Where the f did it all go wrong?
My guy, you have to find better content, bro. Like that's an interesting one. Not my content of choice, if I'm being completely honest. I guess it is someone's thing, though, potentially. But there's also, like, self-reflection here. And I think that that's what throws me off about this one, is that, like there's clearly self-awareness and reflection here. My guy, my instant sentence should not have been, my guy, put on 2G1C. No, do not do that. Never do that. Oh my god, where did that... Oh, that clawed its way up from the depths of my brain. Do not. That is not a challenge. Do not look that up. My guy, just search literally anything else. I feel like feet would be a little more normal than this. At least a little more normalized and accepted.
That is disgusting, bro. Which VTuber? Which one? Which one so I know to avoid that channel? A female coworker complimented me on my shirt, and I began to stutter trying to say thanks. This guy...
I mean, I don't stutter necessarily, but I do freeze up. I went to Costco once, and I had and a woman comment on, like, how they liked my shirt, and I kind of just froze up. I kind of just stammered thanks and kind of just, you know, continued walking. Because, I mean, like, realistically, right, that's not an invitation. That is very much a passing comment, right? There's just face value. There's nothing more to read into there. But, like, going into what I said at the beginning, yeah, no, my default response is kind of like to seize up a little bit and, address the situation at hand. Oh, situation at face value. Clearly a compliment. Clearly a passing remark. Obligatory response. Move on with my day, right? I don't know. I don't quite know how to handle, like... And this is actual, like, genuine. Like, not mask off, Kip, right? But this is genuine, like... Bro, I don't. I don't know anymore. Part of that is the internet, right? Part of that is why, making the post I did, being able to address, look, I'm off social media at this point. This is a cesspool, right? And I had been on Twitter for a hot minute. The 2 times I've gotten posts above like 300 views are negative posts. That tells me that this, via like actually experiencing the algorithm, it is geared towards being divisive and warring, and I'm not about that. Okay, like if someone wants to be genuine, sure. I'm not. I'm 30. Okay, I don't have time for fake people. I don't got time for fake situations. If people want to be genuine, awesome. If people don't want to be genuine, look, I have other things to do, respectfully. So, no, I can kind of relate to this one, circling back. I can kind of relate to this one a little bit.
I will remember that for the rest of his f***ing life. Men will be 85 years old on their deathbed, surrounded by their family, remembering the time some random woman complimented his Metallica shirt 45 years ago.
Exactly.
Ladies, you want to make a random man's life? Compliment his shirt. Just make sure it's not one of those like Ahiago anime shirts, though.
It's pronounced Ahegao. And I would 100% have one of these. I wonder if I can get the fabric that this is on, right? I wonder if I can get it and then fashion it into a cloak, right? Like actual medieval cloaks. Because I have a couple, right? I wear them sometimes when I do sword fighting. And they're also really warm. Can we normalize cloaks again, please? I would absolutely have an Ahegao cloak, 100%. That is a social statement, okay? See, here's the thing, though. It's like how in the past, month, I've unironically wanted to get a fedora because it acts as a repellent, right? Not that I'm sweaty 4chan user status, right? But hear me out, men. What if we all just wear fedoras? Because wearing the fedora is seen as sweaty neckbeard status, incel status even. So... by engaging it and wearing the fedora for the purpose of it being repellent for women, is that not the example of sometimes the best way to play the game is not to play? This is some backwards logic, don't get me wrong. However, it is pronounced Ahegao, very much so, and it is art.
That was a weird era. I licked this canned tuna to imagine what it feels like to eat poutine.
No!
It doesn't taste like that or have that texture, though. Put 5 pennies in your mouth, cut a hot dog down the middle, and then lick that. Probably closer.
I can't do it. This has actually been, unironically, from Twitter. I had some female VTubers bash me because it was kind of a, it was a post about, men and eating out, and honest answer, I can't do it. It tastes awful. It tastes like piss. I can't do it. I can't. To which, obviously, well, you're not a real man, etc. Insert. You're not a real man because you're not willing to do this or able to do this, and it's like, bro, that's like saying someone has to like something like anal. Bro, not everybody likes it, bro. Like that's how that works. Everyone has different kinks. Everyone has different preferences, right? And that's the thing, is having a bad experience can absolutely just turn someone off from it, right? You have a great experience making out until somebody just burps. And it's like, no, it's a hard pass, right? Even if you're multiple partners on, right? That entire situation can remain in your brain, right? And it can turn you off from the situation, right? On the flip side of things, I don't know, maybe she ends up being really flexible and you're like, man, I didn't know you could do that with the back of a knee. And suddenly you're into it, right? Part of that is conditioning, but part of that is also people have different preferences, right? I went through an entire, I can't show the list on stream, but I went through an entire fetish and kink list recently. I got depressed about halfway through when the content started getting darker, right? I would never put that on a kink list if I'm being completely honest. When you start getting and people do. I know people for a fact do. When you start having necrophilia, you start having you know, amputee, you start having some really like foobar themes, you've lost my interest. This is no longer fun. This is pretty messed up, right? I did this for you, chat. I went through an entire extensive list for you. Bro, it's like it's just bad. Yeah. Circling back. Imagine if the script was flipped though. Imagine if, you know, Anne Woman was like, I can't eat someone out, right? And then like, I don't know, it's not seen as empowering, right? You mean you did this for us? let me deflect blame, chat.
And here I am thinking the guy who licks a can of tuna pretending it was a pussy was rock bottom. What the f am I reading? Why can't you just buy a fleshlight or something like a normal person? The smell and the flavor are important factors here.
I gotta get that bacon grease on that Tenga, bro.
Stop. If it smells and tastes like tuna, something is wrong. She has an infection. Suppose a girl has blocked you on every platform, but you know her address. For the past year, you've been sending her one GIF each month.
Already, no, stop post. Do not. This is bad.
Each one bigger than the last. Sometimes you include a note. She's never responded, but you know she's receiving them. How would you proceed?
Immediately stop, because that's creepy.
You don't. You don't proceed. None of these people at this party know I beat it to giantess vor animations. Maybe, but now the whole internet does.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it? I don't know, because there's different classifications of vor specifically. There's like hard, and then there's soft. Soft is kind of like you're just enveloped by something. Yeah, I'm gonna stop myself right there. I'm not continuing on this rabbit hole. Point being, once again, entire comprehensive list that was not a good time towards the end. There were some pretty foobar themes there.
Love the people in the comments like, my man. It is just actually insane. Like, these people walk amongst us. Like, the guy in front of you in line at the bank might have a being eaten alive fetish. Who knows?
So this is actually really interesting because, oh god, I don't know if I even want to talk about it. Let's err on the side of caution and say let's not talk about that specifically, that specific interaction. However, I will say that, you know, adjacent, there is a non-zero amount of women who are, you know, walk amongst us every day, who I guarantee you have some of the most deranged monster stuff on their phone. Well, I mean, and obviously, like, you know, deranged end of the spectrum, but some of it's also kind of like the spicy, like, cocaine end of the spectrum, right? Like, there is a woman in your life around you, amongst us, right? Who very much really likes tentacle play. All I'm gonna say, okay, this cuts both ways. You just kind of go, eh, and then the subject never comes up. It's like, chat, how many times have you actually heard me discuss certain subjects, right? Discussing ahegao, discussing consent in a bedroom environment, right? Not a whole heck of a lot, right? Because guess what? It's not relevant to the conversation, right? Like, it's literally the Family Guy who starts a conversation like that. Hi, my name is Kip, and I I think the cow print is funny, right? Or, hi, my name is Kip, and I like insert kink here. And it's like, bro, who starts a conversation? You have to build that rapport, right? Or you're already in a situation that's pretty accepting of that, right? I know Project Melody has a couple clips of her talking about, was it a BDSM club? And something about, it was something about her talking about how people understand communication and respect a lot more there in that setting. And it was a very, like, loving setting to be at a club like that. But it's like, but that's an example of you being in the right situation at the right time, right? There are situations where this is appropriate.
An acquaintance I have is talking with his girlfriend and 4 of her friends 40 feet away from me. He said, statistically, 1 of the 10 guys in this room is a racist. They all looked at me. Funfetti pizza. I was talking to a girl who thought I was Latino. When I told her I'm Indian, she almost gagged. Woke up this Sunday morning. I'm still 5'9".
Bro, me at 5'11", though.
Okay, 5'9" is not short. What the hell have the dating apps done to men? Women on dating apps have just like destroyed the male psyche. Like dudes now believe if you're not 6'3", it's over. Didn't
It is over. What do you mean? I'm 5'11". I will never obtain the 6'0". Like I'm cooked, bro.
they just implement like a height filter on like Bumble or one of those apps or something? That is insane. Could you imagine they did a weight filter? Could you imagine no women under 170 pounds? Could you fucking imagine? They would never. Paid for nudes for the first time. They weren't great nudes, but I kept paying because she talked to me.
Honestly, yeah. Like, yeah, that right there sums up the entire video. Right? Like this. Bro, I don't even shame, right? If you're gonna buy OF stuff, Fansly stuff, bro, who cares? It's your money. Do what you want with it, right? Obviously, there's a point where it becomes a problem, right? Like if you're spending, hundreds a month for stuff, right? Yeah, I think that there can be a point where it becomes a problem and potentially an addiction. But once again, like literally everything can be, can get to that point, right? There's a balance, right? There is an over excess of things like that. So it's about, in every situation is different, right? Like if someone making $60,000 a year versus $90,000 a year versus $120,000 a year versus $100,000 joint, right? Like it just depends on the situation. And I worked in finance, and I'm going to obfuscate some of the details here, but I was worried about fraud because, someone had, reached out and they were talking about, hey, there's charges on here. And I'm like, okay, what's the problem? And the person was very hesitant to answer, right? I'm being very vague in regards to gender here. The person was very hesitant to answer. And I reinforced them like, bro, like I need to know if there's fraud here, right? Like obviously a little more professional than that. And this person ends up telling me that the charge was for some spicy content. And I'm like, hey, I'm not judging. I really don't care. I have zero cares, right? Like in a reaffirming sense, I have zero cares. What's important to me is there fraud or is there not? That's all I care about. What you do is on your own time. Is it legal? Sure, go for it, right? So I think that a lot of people don't quite grasp that though. And it's, it's seen as, weak and pathetic and that you're just an incel, for paying for spicy content. And it's like, bro, everybody does it. Most people do it. I want to add the asterisk there. Most people do it because there are people who don't have any inclination or feelings that are sexual in nature, right? I hate that I have to stress certain words. I feel like the necro is gonna get this video demonetized. We're gonna see on that one. I don't know. It's a strange one to really dissect, right? Like we are so. I think a lot of this is social conditioning, though. Like the more I think on it, I think a lot of this is social conditioning.
Spinning Glizzy. She talked to you, huh? Are you sure about that? Are you sure you were talking to Cutie Pie Kitten 69 and not f***ing Kamal from Pakistan? Because apparently that's the thing.
Yeah, the whole Amaranth situation, right? What is it? She had a team, right? Responding for her. Do you know, and I want to be transparent about this. Do you know that in my YouTube studio, I can respond via AI comments? I never have, and I never will. I think it is the stupidest thing ever. Because at that point, that is fake engagement, right? So if somebody comments on this video about, hey, great video, or something like that, right? There's an option. There are options, multiple, that are like pre-done chat bubbles that I can just like tap it and it says something along the lines of thank you or something like that, right? Like expression of gratitude. And I'm just like, this is so dystopian, okay? Like if I have to step away, I'll step away, right? I feel that is a disservice to you. I feel it's a disservice to anybody to come into this, to just AI respond, right? Do I need to essay at people? No, right? Do I need to essay about how I like this video and what I liked about it? Probably not. I can leave it pretty reasonable in terms of length. But like, this is also on subject. This is also a concern. Is it actually the person you're talking to? Is it, if it's not the person you're talking to, is it someone on their team? Or are they just using ChatGPT? And I think that there's something just morally bankrupt about that if it's ChatGPT. Because at that point, just put your own prompts into ChatGPT or whatever language model, right? that is morally just bankrupt, in my opinion.
Apparently, OnlyFans girls hire agencies in like India and Pakistan to like talk to their simps for them. I masturbate to girls until I am tired of them, so I won't have to approach them and then get rejected. Is this why the birth rate is so low? See, I was under the impression it was because the economy and because gender relations are so terrible in this country and like women want a career and they're on birth control, blah 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 blah, but I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's just millions of this guy. Or maybe this is just Reddit. I can only get...
There's a non-zero amount of those guys. So what is being exemplified there specifically is trying... It is the incel problem, right? I will respect women by not dealing with women, right? Which is bass-backwards logic, right? And this... Definitely not speaking from experience. Definitely not speaking, from people being very clear and like, Kip, that's dumb. Legends. Absolute legends. But like, that's the thing, right? Is it's like, if I do something in advance and it discourages me from doing the thing, therefore I don't have to deal with the thing. And that in itself is problematic. That in itself is stupid logic, right? Look, if you go work in a public environment, if you go out to a game shop, right? You're going to see women, right? Go to Game Shop, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer. Let me tell you a secret. There are women there, okay? And as it turns out, women enjoy a lot of things. A lot of them are spooked off by, some of the men who show up, right? Warm Subway, always sweating. His fingers are somehow always greasy after washing his hands. Maybe tips his hat and says, "Milady," right? Yeah, and that's going to spook anyone off, right? Like... And as a man, there are certain things that would spook you off, right? Like, imagine going to a game shop or going to, I don't know, a sports event or something like that. And you had, and woman who just came up to everybody and just, hugged them from behind and maybe kind of like ran her fingers across their neck. And it's like, lady, I didn't ask for this. Like, you would a lot of men would be discouraged from ever coming back. But the problem is that's seen as acceptable. And additionally, it's seen as, bro, why didn't you like it? You should have enjoyed it. You gay or something? That's a problem.
Off to femboy hentai now. Corn on the cob, no salt, no butter, no nothing. This is the closest I can get to the feeling of eating out a girl's
That's not how that... I mean, country girls make do. Forklifts, corn, I mean... I hate it. I hate that. I hate that I just said that. Oh my god, I need to go in baby jail. I believe it or not, straight to jail. That's not how that works.
Oh, that's not
even remotely close.
Maybe it is. I don't know. My cat was sitting on my lap and I had to make him move because I started to get hard when I saw a gif of Candace Owens. I was watching a...
No clue who that is. Hear me out. You're going to get yourself a hot pastrami sandwich. You're going to get extra mayo on it. And then lick that. Clearly that's closer. This is satire.
Not safe for work video with that one French girl and coomed just when the camera randomly zoomed in 4K HD on a guy's face, so I did a load to a guy. Felt a little bit cucked and gay and cried a little bit. You could have looked away.
You could have. You chose to watch that.
But you didn't. Did you? My body is permanently deformed and crippled by decades of compulsive, joyless masturbation. Everyone who sees me can tell instantly. Saw a female's body in the cheese and had to jerk off before finishing the plate.
Okay, I get what he's saying. I understand it. Yeah, there's... Yeah. I see it. I see what he's going for. But also... The internet exists. Like, come on.
Waved cheese lasagna. Okay, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't read the first part. What the f is that? That is not lasagna. That is an abomination. Jerked off to a Vtuber crying compilation and the hardest I've ever in my life.
That I would argue that's concerning. I think that from let me let her finish this. I want to see her thoughts on this.
I used to be a track star in high school, and both my parents always loved me. How did I fall so far? It's actually so crazy how, like, you can do everything right as a parent. You can just be, like, a great, responsible parent and raise your kid right. And then one day on your son's, like, 13th birthday, you gift him his own computer. And then in a few years, he's masturbating to anime girls crying and posting about it on Reddit. Tofu broke.
So here's why I latch on to the concept of that being problematic. Because, and this is pulling from her last video, right, where she brought up the part about rewiring people's brains from, was it a doctor or something? That is one of those I would argue becomes problematic because I feel that feeds into its own cycles, and inherently VTubers crying, at least to me, like, relays a sense of getting off to negativity. And I feel that that specifically is a very slippery slope. Like, sure, I'm sure people could separate it. I'm sure people could, untie certain emotions. But I have to ask, why take VTubers crying when R34 literally exists? Just genuine question here. Like it literally exists.
Apart, just like my life. Yesterday, for the first time in my life, I looked for and watched cuck porn on purpose, then cried. I have a micro penis.
Bro, he's into that Sneeko chair.
All porn is cuck porn. You're sitting in a chair watching two people fuck. You might as well be sitting in a chair in the corner of a hotel room watching two people fuck on a bed. What's the difference? Porn is basically virtual cucking. Tried to jack off today, but all the porn was so bad I just turned my phone off and cried myself to sleep. Okay, the reason—
Bro, I feel that though. The lighting's awful. The mixing and mastering on the sound is bad. Like, the acting is horrible. She's clearly not into it. She's just here for a paycheck. Oh, please.
Why you think the porn is boring is because you are so completely desensitized from seeing it all the time. Like 40 years ago, dudes were jerking it to like the Sears catalog underwear ads. And now the most insane, depraved shit you could ever fucking imagine is only like a few clicks away. Like, I just don't think humans were meant to live that way. Like, I don't think humans were meant to see sissy hypno inflation compilations every second of the day, you know? Whenever I met—
What was the code meant meme? What was it? I'm calling bullshit, woman lady, because the words that are spewing out of your mouth are insane. The fact that that was my actual, genuine first response. Oh, God, code meant changed my life. No, maybe for the better, maybe not. I don't know. Jury's still out on that one. Oh my God.
I leave my cum sitting in my underwear. We can smell it, by the way.
Yeah.
We can smell the cum. Women especially can tell if you have recently masturbated. You ladies know what I'm talking about. Like, you go up to a guy and, like, you can just tell. Like, you can smell it. If you're a guy and you're like, wait, is she joking? Is she being serious? Don't worry about it. Last night
She's probably not. I mean, yeah. Look, like, once, like, what? I don't know. Like, but does the inverse apply, though, right? Does the inverse apply? I mean, at least me, I like don't know if and woman has done it. Nor is it really my business if I'm being completely honest, right? Like, I was unironically thinking, message one of my female friends, and I'm like, so, because this is after the action, this is a couple days ago, and I was referring to her prior video. So, if we're talking about ERP and, stuff that women do, right? So if men have the Quagmire arm meme, what is the equivalent for women? Like, do they attempt to just, like, open a can of soda and, like, their fingers just, like, shear off the top half of the can from just their strength alone? Like, how does that work? What's the equivalence here? Because it interests me. I need to know what the equivalent is. Oh, my God. Yeah. It's funny.
off and my goopy steamer of a load landed on my Xbox and fell into the ventilation of the console, and it turned me on so much I sprayed the console with 9 sprays of my mom's perfume and masturbated to the stench, and now it won't start. Breakfast
That poor Xbox.
to start the day. Why? Why? I've had this crush for 3 years, and I want to screenshot and print some of her photos on Instagram to pee on them, but I can't even afford a printer, so I just wrote her name on a piece of paper and drowned it in my piss. I'm just a stupid pee cell. Why? I hate how the one time she wants to pop a tea for the gram is when she's breastfeeding. Got me using AI just to remove her baby from the pic. Save the earth and post them teas uncensored. Plump and full of milk. This video is turning me into a fucking misandrist. This video is turning me into a femcel. I can't do this anymore. I'm dyeing my hair blue, I'm getting a nose ring, I'm growing out my armpit hair. The girl I like was
Honestly based. So that brings up the... I was going to bring this up during the shaving bit before my internet decided to commit Sudoku. But like... What are the gender politics behind shaved versus unshaved? Just wondering. Someone's gonna be like, "What do you mean you're dropping the hard B as in beaver here? Come on now, that's not empowering." Bro. You know what? Maybe I'll explore this rabbit hole. Maybe I'll just reach out to a couple friends and be like, "Yo, I need to do this because of a bit." You can definitely choose the non-answer. What are the gender politics behind this?
wearing flip-flops and gym shorts at uni yesterday, sitting on the floor with her legs open. I went home and jerked off 6 times in a row thinking about her feet and her butt. Woke up today, went to pee, and noticed that a chunk of skin on the back of my d is coming off. That's it! That's it! Men need to be born into prison and then earn their way out. There's probably something terribly wrong with my colon. I've been told to seek medical advice ASAP for several months, but it will probably figure itself out one way or another. Well, you should probably go to the doctor if you don't want something bad. I wish older women would pee on me. Oh.
Bro, he baited us.
God, the men you have sent to protect us are on Reddit fantasizing about getting pissed on. Discovered cartoon pornography at the age of 8, and life sucks since then. My mom caught me dry humping my torn mattress to some AI porn and hasn't looked at me in the eyes since. I haven't even touched a girl intimately yet, and I've lived half my life. I'm 39.
This is the thing, right? Oh, it's okay, Kip. You're 30. I'm sure you'll find a good situation. I don't think you understand that the bar for success, communicate like an adult, don't hit me. Bro, why? Like, that is an actual high bar. I would much rather be 50 and maidenless than get into a bad situation again, right? 100%. And I think I can speak for a lot of men who would be like, yeah, honestly, don't get me wrong, kind of sucks. I'm sure a lot of men have this fear. You get 40, 50, 60, and it's just like, well, it feels like you kind of wasted your life, right? Which, and that's the thing, is like, as long as you've done something that you're proud of, and as long as you've done what you can look in yourself in the mirror at the end of the day, right? That's all that really matters. That's all any of us can do. Yeah, I mean, this being 30, well, not the first part, right? Like being like 40, 50, 60 and being maidenless. That's just one of those things that, like, yeah, it's not just a fear, but a reality for a lot of people. And it's not to say to close yourself off from the world, to close yourself off to opportunities, but it's entirely possible that it's something just never happens, or the people you meet just aren't quality. And there's something to be said for if somebody would much rather get into a relationship or situation where their partner doesn't communicate, their partner prone to aggression, hauls off and, clobbers you, right? Because they can't control themselves. Would you much rather that than being by yourself? And I think that the how you answer that question determines a lot about you as a person. I have my L's. Don't get me wrong. I'm 100% someone who has a lot of L's and a lot of issues. But what I can say specifically is separate, independent from the start of the video, where, you know, making disclosure about, you know, yeah, no, I'm genuinely uncomfortable because of my experiences, and that is a problem. Acknowledgement of the problem, independent of that fact entirely. I, as an individual, do not want to get myself into a situation that is going to be negative or detrimental, derogatory, downward spiral, right? I don't want to deal with that ever again, and nobody should have to deal with that.
Okay, first of all, bro is fart maxing. Second of all, men, you really gotta stop the porn. You gotta stop it, or like just way less of it. It's not good for you. Listen, I used to be super pro porn a few years ago. Not anymore. It's gotten so bad, especially after COVID. I feel like it got so much worse. I feel like porn addiction just kind of exploded in the past few years. In women too, as we have previously discussed. Like, sure, everything is fine in moderation, blah, 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 but I feel like there's just like no moderation anymore. I feel like fucking everyone is just a gooner. And it's making everybody depressed. We're just like a society running on like perpetual post-nut depression. Afraid to.
So this is actually why I brought up earlier the Universe 25 experience, which is that I have not delved into fully. And it's very depressing as a subject. So I would definitely recommend people steer clear of that. This is where, at least in part, I start to make some of those connections. Where, I mean, what is it? At its core, what does a society do if there's no struggle, right? And it was something about like how, you know, the mice/rats in question, you know, they had, you know, unfiltered access to food, they had housing, you know, everyone, you know, like the utopia, so to speak, right? It's supposed to simulate a utopia, and there were definitely some interesting patterns and really messed up patterns that emerged 100%. And as I said, I don't think it's in direct one-to-one because one, animal, because two, like there's just certain control factors. But that's also a dingus opinion on the internet because I have not read the full thing, and that is a full disclosure. I have not read the full thing. I have a very basic understanding of it, so make sure you factor that into your opinion. But the unwillingness for people, or unwillingness for individuals to interact and procreate with each other was definitely a struggle that emerged, and it was. I mean, the other part of that was also, what was it? There were some mice/rats who were very, like, what's the word that was used? I don't remember the exact word, but like, we're going to say like very beautiful. They take care of themselves. They groom themselves and stuff, right? They're very, you know, genetics were favorable to them, but they also choose to not procreate. So it's interesting that I came across that when I did. And I'm not going at this from the doomer approach, but more so, what lessons can be learned from it, and what both enables and disables certain factors there. I think there's interesting conclusions we can draw from it, strictly through an academic lens and a compare and contrast of humans versus the animal in question. Very fascinating stuff. 25 looks it up. Look, I told you not to look it up. Yeah, the behavioral sync. Yeah, it's gonna be a rabbit hole in itself.
Talk to women at work in case they allegation max. Just friendliness max and LARP as a normal-pilled creepiness minimizer. I asked a girl out at work and she reported me to HR. I think I'm gonna lose my job.
That is actually something that is actually fair, I will say. I personally have had issues in the past where, you know, when I say issues, not me specifically, but watching people be in workplace relationships, and I go, isn't this wrong? Like, is this not against company policy? And it usually gets hand waved. However, we do have to acknowledge that being in a workplace and asking someone to date them is technically against, at least most companies, I'd argue, technically against their policies, right? Dating within the workplace. This one I really don't have sympathy for because, yeah, like, it's no different than going to the Gap or going to the mall and going to stores to try to quote unquote open up women, right? And it's like, I don't want to do it. Why would I do that? Why would anyone do that? Like, I get the reason why people would do it. Bro, they're literally stuck at their job, right? And regardless of gender, right? Regardless of wherever you fall on the spectrum, right? Someone walking up to you while you're on shift and trying to flirt with you, trying to engage, ask you out on a date or for your number, right? You're trapped at work. And at that point, the reasonable thing to do is try to disengage as best you can. Talk to your manager. Your manager should realistically resolve the situation for you. Because that's you should not have to be at work and forced to deal with that. I think that part of this, I would have to speak to people who really worked when the third place was a thing. Right, the place that's not work or home that you kind of go to and socialize, church, game shop, bar, etc. Right, and how that's kind of disappeared over the past couple decades. I mean, I'd have to speak to somebody, you know, living through 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, right, probably pre 2008 crash, and get a variety of opinions in regards to dating in the workplace and how it was perceived in the past versus how it's perceived in the present, and to compare and contrast it to you know, how often it was done and versus how often it wasn't done. Like we know people did things at work, right? And I don't want to rose-tinted glasses this and say, well, back in the oldie days it was better, because I don't have that information, hence why I'd have to reach out and get different perspectives and opinions. However, circling back around to the subject at hand, this is technically wrong. And if a woman did it, it would equally be as wrong. If a non-binary individual did it, AC-130 did it, technically be wrong. I'd be a little concerned about the AC-130 because that means DARPA's on some tech again. But that creates an uncomfortable work environment, and this is a really weird one.
See, this is sad. Like, back in the day, it was totally acceptable to flirt with your coworker, ask her on a date, whatever. Like, so many people's parents met because they worked together, because they were coworkers, and they flirted and they hung out and stuff. And now it's like not socially acceptable at all to do that.
Because it's not. And so this is actually where I'd have a fundamental disagreement, right? Not that that's bad, right? But I would disagree at its whole, right? I think that, at least from my subjective worldview and experience, it is not fair to trap someone in the work environment like that. It is seen as unprofessional. It is seen as it's just not seen in a positive light. So this is actually where I'd fundamentally disagree with her, and this is where I would champion you as the viewer to come to your own educated conclusion. Go look at your workplace policies, right? If it is truly against workplace policies and you have Brenda and Brad at the holiday party and you're like, don't go and touch that potato salad now, right? Why is HR not getting on that, right? And I think that there's some interesting conclusions we can draw from this, regardless of what the answers are.
HR culture has...
in regard to what the answers are,
it's like not socially acceptable at all to do that. HR culture has ruined the relationship between men and women in the workplace. HR, go talk to your crush. I got called into HR.
Yeah, firm disagree. But you know, so this is also showcases my bias, and we talked about this in the Wolfie VGC video. Bro, if I show up to do something, I'm there to do that thing. If I show up to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm there to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not there to socialize. I'm not there to do thing, right? If I show up for sword fighting, I ain't there to talk. Like, I'll talk to people between rounds and stuff like that. I'm there to get my longsword out, my shield out, and we're gonna go hit some people, right? Obviously within reason, right? I say that from a hyperbolic standpoint, right? I'm going to show up to sword fight. I'm not there to flirt. I'm not there to do it, right? And that also is my own subjective bias, because a lot of people can and do show up to, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, and they want to communicate with people, even if, you know, not outside of the friend group, right? People do show up to a bar wanting to date rather than to, you know, eat chicken wings or whatever, right? People do show up to sword fighting because they want to catch up and they want to talk and stuff like that. And it's like, that's fine. Let's save it for the after party. Let's save it for the feast tonight. We can talk then. I'm here. We got a tournament bracket going on. I'm here to hit people with swords. I'm here to get hit with swords. Like, simple as. So, in my fundamental disagreement, I do have to cite that I, as a person, am not necessarily your average person. So this might differ if the average person is there to get more out of it rather than just doing simply the thing that they're there to do. That is an important point to know.
Because apparently it's not okay to jokingly ask my coworker if I can gargle her period.
No, that's not okay at all. No, that's gross.
Oh, what the Okay, never mind. Never mind. Don't do that. Don't do that. No more talking to women at work. No more talking to women at work. No more talking to women in general. Total.
Ah, right there. Bro, someone's gonna clip that so hard. Bro, you know someone on this this Reddit thread is gonna use this Shoe0nHead video as material, right? You know it. And they're gonna get the reaction going with the anime waifu. Dude, I should have brought up my waifu model for this one. Bro, I should have brought up my waifu model. You know this is gonna be someone's material.
Ban on talking to women until we figure out what the hell is going on. Downloaded Tinder and got 2 matches in 5 days. F my stupid, ugly life.
I will say I do have issue with Tinder, and I ran this as kind of an experiment for myself. I'm like, what are the issues? The issue I have with Tinder, even paying for premium, is that like 95+% of matches, I think every single match that I got, because I also, ended up, like hitting funny button. Like I physically ran out of people in my area. I didn't even know it was possible. But the problem I run into is when you match with somebody, when you match with and woman, right? She said, what's one of the things she says? Here's my Snapchat. Here's my Instagram. Let's take this off platform so I can delete this app. Men, how many of us have experienced this exact interaction? I disagree with it completely. I don't know if you're phishing me. I don't know if it's a scam, okay? I'm here because, hey, the thing. And I don't know what Tinder's policies say specifically about bringing things off platform. I'm sure that realistically it's like, what can they do about it, right? But it's like, it's such a sham, S-H-A-M. It's such a sham to me because it's let's take this off platform to Tinder or Snapchat or something like that. I don't know enough about, no, it's not Tinder, Instagram or Snapchat. I don't know enough about Snapchat. I think I used it once or twice a long time ago. I think the appeal to it is that it deletes your stuff, so it's not necessarily permanent, right? Where like, other platforms, there's some kind of permanence to it. I don't know personally. If I'm being honest, I hardly really use Instagram and I don't use Snapchat anymore. And I would assume there's some security stuff to that. I would assume that there's something for that. To me personally, no, I disagree with it. So I can tell you from my own personal experience, I have a very poor opinion on Tinder.
Okay, from what I know from like men who use the apps that I've talked to, that's actually really good. Oh my god, they're all so mad at him in the replies. You get a match in less than a week and you complain? Stop humble bragging. I've gotten 0 matches in 3 months. 2 matches in 5 days? Why are you even here? My culture is not your costume. Fake cell. Go outside and get your life together. A true cell gets 0 matches. That's 2 people. How many do you need to be satisfied? Oh God, Mods, take his balls away. 2 matches. Head on over to Kitchen Chads. Oh god, what is Kitchen Chads? Hold on.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
On Kitchen Chads. It's real. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I love this. I love this culture war.
Love cooking for my girlfriend with the money I make from my job. Made some ratatouille because I like the movie. Might go for a run later. I have had sex before. This is like the
And we have determined that was a lie.
Krusty Krab across the street from the chum bucket. Yeah. This is evil. This is diabolical.
This is
okay, let's go back to kitchen cells. We're done here. I haven't felt the touch of a woman in months. Months? Fake cell.
Absolutely. What do you mean months? Bro, until you hit years, don't talk to me. Oh my god.
Try 25 years. Boo, fake cell. Fake cell spotted. Went to the drugstore and the girl cashier was nice to me. Started stuttering, so she kinda giggled at me, so I left immediately. Felt so humiliated I couldn't stop myself to get home and masturbate to the idea of her suffering.
I have a very disgusted look on, like if I ate like a whole lemon, that's kind of the look on my face right now. No.
Masturbating to the idea of her suffering. Incredible. This is some classic incel shit. I like how there's just like a bunch of people in the comments like, dude, what the fuck? Bro, get some help. Fake cells when a real incel pulls up. Yeah. A girl I know has recently added me to her
Oh, I already hate this image. I hate this.
Close friend stories. Well, today she posted a poll asking what color she should paint her toenails, and apparently my answer was, quote, too specific. I'm no longer in her close friends list. I once walked up to a woman I went to school with since middle school.
So, on that past one, I don't know. So I think that's a read the room kind of thing, right? And I think that, potentially women would be able to answer in ways that men couldn't, right? Yes, you could argue it's a double standard, but I think that that's generally how that would work. I mean, how in depth are we talking? Are we talking like, you know, I think an aquamarine would work personally with your skin tone, or are we like, well, you should do your big toe in aquamarine because of this, because of wrinkles here. You know, your second toe from your big toe is going to be this color because this would complement it. Like how deep is the rabbit hole here? Okay, I'm missing context here.
I'm no longer in her close friends list. I once walked up to a woman I went to school with since middle school at a bar. Before I could even finish saying hello and asking how she was, a guy put himself between us and asked her if she knew me. She said no. I'm pretty sure they're married now.
I don't even put myself in this situation. I don't know. But once again, it's even separate from my own discomforts. If I'm there at a bar, bro, I'm playing Pokemon on my 3DS in the corner. Or I'm on my Switch, or I'm on my phone, okay? I'm not there to, like, open up women, right? I'm not there to, like... And I know people, like, it's not even necessarily this is necessarily a romantic thing or, like, anything like that. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, what happens if I saw someone I went to high school with? Cool. Sure. I'm going to go continue doing my thing. You know what? I'm going to use a citation for this. I went to downtown Boise to a place called Pie Hole. Very good place. Very good pizza. I love it. They're also open to like 2 a.m. and I love it. I personally enjoy it. And I was just sitting there eating my pizza and had like a couple ladies walk up and they went into the restaurant. But one of them was like wearing like effectively booty shorts and a bra. And it's like, in that situation, you know what I did? I looked down at my pizza and I ate my pizza. Okay? As it turns out, people can wear and do whatever they want. Doesn't mean I have to engage with it, right? And like, I think some people would be like, you know, want to engage or compliment them or take pictures. And it's like, just sat down and ate my pizza. Because you know what? That was really good pizza. Also, like, cosplay is not consent, and dressing is not an okay to touch, engage, etc. You know, things people struggle with. Opening up women, as I understand it, when I say that, it has to do with like approaching and trying to start a conversation to go somewhere. That's what I would use the definition for that.
22, no driver's license, no post-high school education, never had a job, never kissed a woman, and have horrible social anxiety.
Okay.
Flying bundle of bananas for dinner. I'm Albanian. F*** you. I'm half Jewish, half Indian. It was over at birth. You didn't have to tell us the half Jewish part. We could tell by the circumcised avocado. 5'3". Finally got the confidence to walk up to a girl at a bar and she bent down and asked me where my parents are. Judging by what we have seen around this subreddit, some guys would be totally into that. Some men are drowning, while others die of thirst.
100%. I mean, imagine that on the other hand, though, right? Imagine a woman walking up to a dude. Maybe she's not the most endowed, let's say. And then the dude just says, Are you of age? And then she responds, bro, I'm 25. And he responds, man, your cup size sure doesn't say that. How awful that would be. Because I guess people still struggle with the concept of body types and genetic difference and variance. I don't know. This one's a strange one to make, right? Like, small bust size does not mean underage. You can be 30 and like not. Simple as. So it's rough. Also, that rainbow trout, that lemon on there, that was muy bonita.
I should clean my bathroom, but without the drain flies, I have nobody left to keep me company. Asmongold, is that you? You don't just have your drain flies. Look, you have a little ant friend too.
Gross!
See, it's not all bad. Made peach cobbler. I have a date tomorrow. Maybe my femcel gay life is over. A woman going on to a incel subreddit talking about how she has a date tomorrow. This is just evil. This is just like eating a 5-course meal in front of a starving African child. What are you doing? I'm a femcel loser who can't talk to people and spends all her time playing games. Guy I had a crush on from high school told me he wasn't interested in a relationship, but I think he's lying and didn't want to tell me he's not.
Okay, like, Give me a second.
Interested because I'm fat, chopped, and broke. Fuck my fucking loser virgin life. I'm about to turn 25 and
So wait, did we swap over to the other end of the spectrum?
I'm fat, chopped, and broke. Fuck my fucking loser virgin life.
So I'm assuming this is from the POV of Ann Woman. He told me he wasn't interested, but I think he's lying. So this person clearly, this person is one that clearly doesn't understand what consent is. Because this very much is the logic of, well, no means yes, right? This is the logic of, I asked him, he said no. Or sorry, no, how do I word it? Situation POV, I ask her for a thing. She says no. I say cool. I leave. She says, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" "Well, you didn't even try to win me over. You didn't even try to court me. You said no." That's how that works. So here's where I think the ground gets muddied. As somebody who was thinking about this recently, right? And I think this is going to be an interesting conversation to dive into in a certain aspect. So I promise this relates. So let's take people who are clearly in a healthy relationship, a healthy, consensual, communicative relationship, right? And let's say they want to do some spicy time, right? Is there necessarily every single time? Is there the exchange of phrases, I consent, I consent? Now, I do have to add the asterisks that, yeah, you should be making sure consent is there. You should be communicating to the best of your ability. Like, you know, lack of communication is technically a no, right? So I have to add those because of how charged this topic can be. So that's why I'm saying we're using this in the controlled setting of this is a healthy communicative relationship, right? If the words I consent are not used, is it problematic? Is that expecting people who are human to be able to say, you know, I consent every single time? Is that inhuman? Is that cruel? Because I guarantee you, right? I guarantee you that there are couples who have been married for 50 years. And I guarantee it's like, nah, this has never been a concern, right? So that's been an interesting thought experiment of, and obviously, and that's the thing, is I would argue that this is the tism speaking. This is very much me being inhuman in certain aspects. Because, yeah, me specifically, if you don't say you consent, that's a thing. And it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, if I was in an actual relationship, the expectation would be every single time, right? Maybe you get up in the morning, maybe you're both feeling a little frisky, but nothing happens unless both parties say, I consent. That's also not realistic, though, especially with the context of it being a healthy relationship. So this is one that I'm currently struggling with, because this is letter of the law versus spirit of the law. Letter of the law would state and I'm using it as not necessarily a legal thing, but like as an actual like comparison, right? Letter of the law says X. Spirit of the law understands X, but allows for Y. So letter of the law is, if she says she doesn't consent, or if she cannot say that she consents, even if she's in the mood for it, right? Like giving every single sign, leaning in, whatever, right? It is still a no. That being said, there are situations in which it would be acceptable. And that obviously gets down to both parties communicating, right? You know, hey, I'm not feeling it today. You know, hey, sorry, I'm just not in the best mood, right? Like, and that's how that works, right? So it's a hard one to work through, especially because of how charged the subject is. And that's the thing, is that people who would champion that, I would assume that there are a lot of people who champion that logic, but at the same time haven't done that? Should they be vilified for that? I think we need to have a very good and grounded conversation in regards to consent in healthy relationships, because that is very much the asterisk. If a woman says no, that means no. If a man says no, that means no. That's how that works, right? But if we get into the moral and ethical complications of being in a consensual and healthy relationship and people not directly saying they consent, is that problematic? I think most people with that asterisk would argue no. But that flies at the very face of consent rhetoric. So that's where I would open up to the floor, and I would open up to people reacting to this, and even Shoe0nHead. Where does that line lie? Because I think that this is a specific thing with consent as a concept that will get overlooked. So sorry, I really rambled on that one. I had to try to find the right words to really talk about that. Starting with the problem with consent is not great rhetoric. Yeah, and that's the consent should be mandatory every single time. Consent should be there. Is it unrealistic to expect people in committed and healthy relationships to force them to say every single time that I consent? It feels robotic at that point. I don't know. I'm gonna get off this subject because it's been a wild one to try to dissect.
I'm about to turn 25 and I'm still a virgin. I feel like it's too late now. Everyone knows more about intimacy than I ever could, and no one will ever want an unattractive, inexperienced femcel. I'm just a lonely virgin femcel gamer. Bro.
It's an attention post.
Why are there women in this incel community? They're like f***ing locusts. They come in, they gentrify everything. Sports, politics, board games, video games. Now the incel community, the hating women club is being invaded by women. Is nothing sacred? There's no such thing as a female incel, okay? There's no such thing as a heterosexual female incel. Dating and finding a relationship, different. But any man would f*** you. It doesn't matter how fat, how socially awkward, how ugly. Men f*** couches. Men f*** rotisserie chickens.
Yeah.
You can find a man who will f*** you. All
do not the chicken. Temperature is a big sure, obviously, kind of a eyebrow raiser. Temperature is going to be a thing there. Herbs and spices that are used are going to be a thing. What happens if a bone cracks, shatters, shards, right? Personally, I would not advise that. That being said, there's a non-zero amount of men who like aloe vera leaves. Let's put it that way. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know if I judge. You know what? You do you.
female incels are volcels. That is my hot take. I know I'm a fake cell, but I truly wish I was a true cell. The only woman who truly loved me for who I am is gone from this world, and I'm the only one to blame. I wish I was a true cell so I didn't know what true love felt like.
I love how chat's like, what does that mean, aloe vera leaves? Don't worry about it. You're best not knowing.
Sometimes when I cook, I like to imagine I'm cooking for a loving partner who's excited for me to join them at the table, but then I turn around and nobody's there and a little part of me dies inside. Every night I go to sleep thinking about kissing a girl just once. Another man's child has the eyes of the woman I love. She's better off without me, and soon enough she'll forget the color of my eyes and the way we laugh together, while I'll be trapped in those memories forever. I like how in the women posting Elle's video, it was like, I got drunk and peed on my date, teehee, and the men posting Elle's video, it's like, I want to myself. Like, this shit isn't even funny. I don't even know what to say to this. This is just depressing. Black bean chili. Mom would hit me until I stopped crying as a kid, and now I'm an emotional wreck to any girl I talk to. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I need a girl to beat me like my mom did.
No! It's like, bro, like, until the second half has like, okay, that's I'm sorry you went through that. That's really tragic. But then instead of having that self-reflection, the dude just like goes 0 to 60. Wild.
Oh. A Freud cell. I've given up on getting women. My goal now is to get as fat as possible.
Honestly, look, the lasagna box says I'm a family of 5, okay? Oh, I hate it, but I also love it. I really like lasagna.
A friend of mine said I look like a serial killer, but not a hot one. What's up with women in the serial shit? Okay, for all my weird flaws, at least I do not have a serial fetish, okay? That is one I do not have.
I can't agree with it personally. I cannot, because at that point, right, it's like, you know that somebody has done some pretty heinous stuff, right? That's like saying, oh, but I love John Wayne Gacy, or, oh, you know, Ed Gein was just so misunderstood. It's like, don't ever talk to me again. Don't. Or, I don't know, like, I can understand, not that I agree with it. I can understand, like, Charles Manson to a degree, because I can't listen to that man. I refuse to listen to anything or any audio recordings of that man. The man has a very infectious, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, right? But that's also me understanding. It's like, nah, this guy's pretty foobar. I will never agree with this. I will never sign off on what this man did. This is concerning to people who agree with him or praise him, right? Like, I can't. I can't. I can't agree with liking serial unalivers like that. I can't agree with it, because at that point, no, I can't even word why I disagree with it. It should be fairly reasonable logic, but apparently not to a lot of people.
Stop having homosexual fantasies about me and my classmate, and I wake up with a boner every morning. The cold showers are not fun. I'm not gay, but imagining how slim his legs are makes me feel hot. I'm not gay, but I keep fantasizing about how soft and smooth bro's legs are. I was in the bathroom trying to eat a banana when two guys walked in and I could hear them kissing. I squashed my banana in anger because of the jealousy I felt. And to make matters worse, I think I grabbed the wrong kind of banana. Haha, I just accidentally squeezed my dick to the sound of two men kissing. I cook so often for my roommate that I've started to feel like his
Yo, I'm trying to figure out the brand on the big picture's too blurry. I was trying to figure out the brand on that knife.
boy wife. Maybe in another life I was his gatherer trad wife and he was my Chad Hunter husband. Is it time to start femboy maxing? Sometimes I have inappropriate thoughts about other men and I hit myself in the head repeatedly.
I feel like a lot of this specific section is repression, right? A lot of this is repression, right? Like, these are people who don't quite understand how to work through their feelings, and like, because this is not normal or healthy behavior, right? It is not normal or healthy behavior to self-harm in this capacity. It's not, very much so. Like fairly reasonable cold take. This reads like repression, and bro, just if you like guys, there's nothing wrong with it, bro. Women like other women, there's nothing wrong with that. And be people, like whoever you like. Like, just in general, like whoever you like. That's fine. You want to take her prior video? I mean, there's potentially a non-zero amount of women who like quadrupeds. I mean, oh my God. I think it hurts my brain because this has to be a video in the first place, right? Or like things like she's pointing out some very reasonable things and showcasing examples, and a lot of this is going to be bait. Don't get me wrong, a lot of this is Reddit bait, absolutely. But there are also, you take enough of these, and even if some debate is rooted in some form of logic, it's one of those things where this has commentaries on people as a whole in society. Right? Like, this has commentary about repression, about social ostracization, about unchecked I'm going to say unchecked degeneration in the context of like getting to a point where you're, you know, hitting yourself or, you know, doing certain definitely questionable if not bad things, right? It's listening to what people have to say, even if they're being, you know, shitters or not, even if they're shitposting or not, and understanding what that says about a lot of people as a whole, or at least certain communities, right? If not a majority of certain communities.
Men out here fighting demons, and the demons is bisexuality. Listen, it's 2025. Nobody gives a shit if you're gay anymore.
No,
that's basically like being straight nowadays in the world of demisexual gender goblins or whatever.
Bro, being straight is pretty gay. All I'm saying. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
You're good, bro. Just don't be a furry. Went on Grindr to see if I was lovable.
No, not the furry. You know, it was really funny watching her prior video and her absolutely losing it over a knot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what she's talking about or what she's referencing, don't worry about it. You're best off not knowing. That was actually really funny. You know what? All I'm saying, furries deal with a lot of your IT, your banking, your everyday applications that you need to function. All I'm saying, furries have a lot of power. Okay, I ain't got nothing wrong with them. Bro, they also get the pad tracking to anatomically correct. Oh. I am off the rails on this one.
And they rejected me. You were rejected on Grindr? That's
Oof.
impossible. Dudes will literally hit up someone on Grindr before the person even has a profile picture. They'll just like get in the DMs like, hey, wanna bang? I swear to God, talk to any gay male friend of yours. They will say the same. The gay male community is what all of human sexuality would look like if women were not the gatekeepers of sex. And it's horrifying. I've said before that hookup culture is basically straight people culturally appropriating gay culture, and it's been a complete disaster for society. 18 male. I haven't seen my friends in months, and all I do with my time is work at my job. Welcome to being an adult, unfortunately. Welcome to the next 45 years of your life. I love the people in the comments like, imagine having a job, you have friends? This guy is doing better than like 90% of the subreddit, and he's only 18. It's never been less over for someone. I'm only 16, and I've already wasted my entire life. I'm gonna turn 18 in a few days. I'm below average in everything. If you're 17 years old, you are basically a child. You are a baby. What are you doing on the incel subreddit? All these people like, oh, I'm 16, oh, I'm 17. Is it over for me? This was me at 16, okay? Quoting Invader Zim, going on newgrounds.com, and now look at me. You know, on second thought, I am exactly where someone like that would end up.
This took a turn.
Never mind. What I'm trying to say is it's not over, okay? It's never over, but it's especially not over when you are that young. It's not like you're 36 or something. A pretty girl sat next to me on the bus and I leaked a bit of pre-cum. I'm 36.
Rough.
Oh. Sorry. Spent my last $10 on OnlyFans. Here's my dinner. Why would you spend money on some stupid whore when you could spend money on a different stupid whore? Me. I won't get naked or talk
I was expecting this.
to you, but you can support me on Patreon. All patrons get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me say, f shit, bitch, link down below. Much smarter way to waste your money.
I'm gonna be honest, that was a 10. That was a 10 Patreon plug.
If I do say so myself. Anyway, obviously, many of these people are being silly, they're being tongue-in-cheek. Real actual incels probably don't hang out much on Reddit. They're not out here posting shit like this. I just thought this was funny and goofy. That has been my whole channel. I find something funny, I bring it to you. I'm like a cat bringing its owner a dead mouse as a gift. Here you go. What is your biggest L? Maybe I'll make another video like this where I just read Shoe0nHead's audience posting their L's. But I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!
I was expecting a more serious video. I'm glad it was a very fun video. I had a lot of fun with this. So much bait, dude. There's so much bait in this video. Wild. Shoe, there's no, there's...
Oh, I'm just a lonely virgin, femso gamer.
There were no videos. I thought this was great. Hopefully you all enjoyed your hour and a half. I don't know how I 5x this video. I don't know how I did it. Hopefully you enjoyed. Come to your own conclusions. Don't be weird. That's all I got for you. Thank you, Shoe0nHead. Have a good rest of your day.